Are you a beginning painter who struggles with mixing paint in the proper amounts and in the right colors? You're in the right place today. We're going to talk all about that. Let's get the apron on and let's get started. Okay, I have primary colors. This is cad yellow, medium, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, white, and black. So you can do a ton of things with that. We're just talking about mixing paint. I want you to think about backgrounds and then items in the painting. If you were mixing a color for background, surely you would mix a good amount of paint. But if you were mixing something, let's look at this. We're gonna paint some leaves. Okay, so we need some green. Okay, so let's mix. We know that blue and yellow make green. Notice how little I'm mixing. I'm not mixing in here or here. I am pulling off those colors and I am mixing out here on the my paper. This is just freezer paper. Okay, I don't mix it up too great because I still want to see some of the other colors in there. Now let's take a look at another. Here, I'm going to take a little black. That's why I put a little black out, because people get a little crazy with black. But let's look at this. So we have some black here. Now I'm going to pull off some of the yellow. This is always amazing to people. That black and yellow make a beautiful olive green. Okay, so we have two colors here, two values. Now we can also take some white. I wipe my palette knife off in between each mix. So out here on the side, I'm not mixing this whole thing. Out here on the side, I'm going to make another value. I can pull some of the paint in, but once I have it in, I can't get it back out. So I'm trying to gently, carefully make a second value of this color. So in a leaf, it's not just one color. Go out and pull a leaf off a tree and see how many colors are in there. Okay, so there is that. Now look at how little paint I have mixed. Okay, now we're going to pull off some more white. We're going to come over here into this mix and we are going to make another value. If you're painting leaves, stems, whatever, you need several values, not just one solid color. Now I just want you to look at the difference in these two colors here. This is made with the blue, ultramarine blue, and yellow. That's what we got here. And then we added some white to get a separate value. This was made with black and yellow, and we added some white to get a second value. Now I'm going to take, this is just a cheap brush, came from a pack, probably Hobby Lobby. I've tipped it in the water. I've tapped it off on the paper towel. You want moisture in your bristles, but you don't want it sopping wet. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up some of this green. Here comes a stem. I'm up on the brush, and now I'm going to maybe pick up a little more paint. I'm going to flatten that brush out and push, turn, get back up on the edge, and come up with that nice edge there. Okay, so now I am going to pinch wipe that off. I'm not rinsing it, just pinch wiping it off, picking up some of the lighter value, and I'm going to come in here like this, up on the point edge, and push, and get back up on that point edge. And now it looks like your leaf is turned. Okay, I've still got plenty of paint here. My goal is to not teach you necessarily how to paint leaves, but how to mix the paint. There we go. Okay, so if the light's coming from this way, we need a little bit of light on the outside of the stem to give it some depth. Okay, so then we can throw in some other stems, some other leaves. There. Okay, now it's the same thing with this green here. You can do the exact same thing. You can, and see, you can see all my color, the black and the yellow in there. But there's tons of paint there. I don't need all of this paint. Let me show you what happens to beginners. Okay, they need to paint 5 leaves. Right there is enough paint to paint 5, maybe 10 leaves. But beginners will take this and this, and first off, they'll just keep mixing, and then they'll pick up some more blue, and then maybe some more yellow, or they'll try to change that whole thing right there. When you're mixing paint, you cannot even change all of that. If you want a lighter value, you need to wipe your brush off, okay, and then bring some white over to it. You can pull in more of the green if that value is too light. There you go. And now you can add some more light out here. You have enough paint here to probably paint every leaf in your painting. I mean, you probably wouldn't have to mix up much more, if any. Okay, so that my point is, don't pull off a ton of paint if you're painting a few small things. Okay, so if you were painting, you needed something purple. So I just tap my brush in the paint. That is all I have on there. And this is alizarin crimson. It's extremely transparent. Now I'm going to go on the other side of the blue so I don't pull in the green. Okay, that's a beautiful violet. Now I'm going to paint a hydrangea. I'm going to pull, that's all the white I got, and I'm going to start it over here on the edge. And then I'm going to pull some more over on the edge. I'm going to add it. I want to make sure you can see this. So you can see the different values that you have that would make a beautiful hydrangea, but you don't have to mix up a ton of paint. And that's my message to beginning painters. Don't think you have to, do all of that. If you're painting a background, yes, you're going to need a lot of paint, but even that does not require all of that. So here we go with a little quick lesson on hydrangeas. Just gonna pull in some of these. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next value, which is a little lighter, and I don't think it's light enough. So let's go this way and throw in, I'm not sure that that's light enough. Let's try a little more white. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to see some differences. And now we're going to add even more white out here on the edge. And now we're going to make some real shapely petals. All these back here are supporting actors. These are the real deal here. Again, adding more white. I'm picking up, this is wet paint, so I'm going to be picking up some of that wet paint. And you don't even have to have all of the, 4 petals, 5 petals in there. Now I want to show you the funnest trick. Here we have a hydrangea. I'm taking the end of my brush and tapping it in the paint. And this is my main flower right here, my main petals. Right there, right there, right there. Look at what those dumb little dots do. I love it. that just that little bit of something turns it actually into a hydrangea. You've done all this other work, but those little dots, that makes all the difference. So don't forget the dots. But anyway, I hope that this makes sense to you, that you don't need to, pull off half that paint and mix it up, because this is not going anywhere, and I've got plenty of paint to use here. Plenty. So have a great day. I hope this has been helpful to you. Okay, in that demonstration, what I'm trying to help you understand is you don't need to mix up a ton of paint. If you're doing a background on a painting, like all the sky and the water, all of that, yeah, you're going to need to mix up some paint. But if you're painting the tree or the leaves on the tree or the grasses, you don't need much paint. So don't overdo it. Beginners are always worried about wasting paint, and then they turn around and waste paint by mixing up this big glob of paint when they need to paint one tree. So don't do that. That is my goal, is to help you get better at what you're really trying so hard to do. And I can so appreciate that. 23 years ago when I started, pre-internet, it was very difficult to find information. And I'm trying to make it as easy as humanly possible for beginners to get the information that they need and that they can use. If you'll go to my blog, my website is www.paintingwithacrylics101.com. And on there is my blog. Go across the top and you'll see the thing for the blog. Click on that. And there are dozens and dozens of posts just for beginning artists, beginning painters who use acrylic paint. That's who I help. You're my jam. And so that blog is completely ad-free. You will not be scrolling through a ton of ads to get the information you want. It's all right there without any problem. I don't monetize that blog at all, and practically don't monetize much of anything. I'm trying to get the information out there for beginning painters. And so I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you recognize, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong, and fix it, because it's all fixable, it's all learnable, and I just want to help you get to the point where you want to be in your art. Okay, so let's have a great day, and hop on my website, www.paintingwithacrylics101.com. I also have a Facebook page by that same name. I don't go on there live as often as I intend to, but there's a ton of information on there too for you. So anyway, have a great day. Thank you so much. If this was been helpful to you, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you're having trouble with something, and maybe I can make a video to help you improve that part of your art, because that is, honest to goodness, my goal. I want to make better art for me, and I want to help you make better art for you. So have a great day. Oh, P.S. I almost forgot. I have a newsletter that comes out every other week at this point. I'm trying to eliminate some things in my life so I can make better art for me and help you still. And so my newsletter is going to go to every other week, but I'll put a link in the description and you can sign up for it. It's a one-page newsletter. You can go as deep on that newsletter as you want. It will always have a connection to a blog post on my website. It will always have a place for a museum where you can view art, and then I will take an artist from that museum and we'll kind of look at them a little closer, and that'll be a link. And then I try to put a quote from that artist on there. So it's very comprehensive, and it's an interesting newsletter that if you're into art, if you're into creating art or just viewing art, or you'd like to buy some art, there's lots and lots of resources in this newsletter. But again, it's just one page. You don't have to go through a billion different pages. It's not going to take you much time to look at it. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to check out the museum, if you want to check out the artist, It's easy. You click a link and that's all it is. So you guys have a great day. Let's paint together soon.